Hello, everyone. I hope this email finds you well. It's been a while. How are you? Like I said, it has been a while. I do recognize that you played a large part in that. Why weren't you here? It didn't have to be a while. You could have gone and watched my old videos. Okay, I'm going to stop with that now. Hi, how are you? I hope you're doing well. Yes, it has been a while. I apologize for that and for no community post. I was supposed to upload last week, or earlier this week, actually. I was supposed to record last week, but I started a new job. Yay, yay, clap, clap. But I have today free. So, yeah. Um, this is going to be my review of The Odyssey by Christopher Nolan. Christopher Nolan, my goat, my filmmaking goat, if you don't know that. Honestly, I don't know how he is as a person. He dislikes AI, which is, that's awesome sauce, as we say. Yeah, I don't know what else he is like. I just know he dislikes AI, which is good, and he makes good movies, which is good. Yeah, so this can be my review of the Odyssey. And it's going to be split into two parts. It's going to be spoiler free and then a spoiler section. Spoiler free is just going to give my thoughts and my feelings towards it. Spoiler is going to go more in depth and talk about the scenes I liked, what I did like, what I didn't like, stuff like that. So yeah, this is going to be the spoiler free section. So if you haven't watched the movie, which you should go watch the movie, it's great. This is the section you can watch. Let's begin. So, um, the Odyssey. It was great. I really, really, really enjoyed it. Nolan, he always has bangers. It's Christopher Nolan. Um, but this one was really good. I don't know what to say, but I genuinely don't know what to say. It's just a really, really good movie. The music, I mean, I don't know how to pronounce his name, so I'm just going to say Ludwig Göransson, or whatever. Ludwig, the composer, is great as always. He's like won Oscars, if you didn't know. Um, he's a really, really good composer. The music in this is great. The directing in this is great. The writing in this is good. Um, I will say, the part I do dislike about this is the dialogue. I'm not going to get into why I dislike it, but if you've seen anything online or if you've watched the trailer, you might kind of get a hint as to what I'm talking about. But there are like not the dialogue, well, the dialogue as a whole rather, but there's some beautifully written like scenes, beautifully written parts, great moments in the dialogue. But like the way the dialogue is written is very like something that I don't like for this movie. It's not badly written; it just doesn't fit this movie, and that's like pretty much my only dislike about the movie. Also, it's very loud. I didn't really mind it, but I know some people don't really like loud movies. But again, it's a Nolan film; it's going to be loud. This was shot entirely on IMAX. I heard that they built like a box for it, so that the cameras weren't as loud. But this movie was still very loud. Let's just talk about that for a second. Shot entirely on IMAX. I didn't watch it on an IMAX screen. We don't really have many where I am. I watched on a regular screen, but it looked great on a regular screen. Like I didn't know the differences, and like it's really just kind of like a visual thing. It's nothing. Obviously, it's nothing to do with like the story. There's no hints in the bottom corners that you're not going to see. You know what I mean? So if you want to watch an IMAX screen, you can watch it on IMAX screen. By all means, please watch on the biggest screen you can. But you don't have to. That's what I'm saying. Um, but yeah, this is a great movie with great music. Visual effects are good. Yeah, the music, the visual effects, the directing, the story. I mean, technically, it's not Nolan's story. Homer wrote it a couple thousand years ago. Speaking of which, you should not be worried about spoilers for the movie because you've had 3,000 years to read this book. Anyways, yeah, it's not Nolan's story, but it is still a great like story. And the way Nolan told it, I don't know if it's like this in the book. I want to read the book, haven't, but I don't know if Homer wrote it like this or this is the way that Nolan wrote it. But the story was really good. Uh, yeah, like I said, the acting. I didn't say the acting. The acting was really good, and like I said, the story was good. The directing was good. The writing was good. Well, the dialogue is bad, but the writing is good. If that makes dialogue not bad, just doesn't work for this movie. But the dialogue is doesn't work for this movie, but the writing is good. If that makes sense. The music is great. It's Ludwig. Um, the cast is good. It's a huge cast. The set pieces, it's a beautiful like movie, like visually speaking. They traveled all over the world, all over Europe. For it, they went to London, Malta, Greece, Los Angeles. They filmed some parts in, but it was like a huge production in like multiple places. Um, yeah, I'm not sure what else to say. That I'm not sure what I can say without spoiling it. Besides, this is just a really good movie with a great cast, and that I do think you should go watch. Um, yeah, I'm going to have a little section here that I'm going to call mild spoilers. That I'm not going to talk about the movie, but I'm going to talk about things surrounding the movie. Um, where if you haven't watched the movie and don't want any kind of like what's it like influence on your viewing of the movie, you can skip it. But if you don't mind that, then you can watch it. You're still going to be safe. You're not going to be hearing about what happens in the movie, but you're going to be hearing about stuff like surrounding the movie. So if you don't want it to be spoiled for that, you should have clicked off already because I'm going to start talking about that now. Yes. So, um, Anne Hathaway, Oscar nomination. At the very least, like Anne Hathaway is getting an Oscar nomination for this movie. She was better than Matt Damon, and I presume Matt Damon's going to get an Oscar nomination. It's a Nolan film, and he's the like lead actor. That's just what happens. Um, I am going to call it now. I'm not saying he should get one, but I'm saying the Academy will give Tom Holland a nomination. The Oscars, they will give Tom Holland a nomination. Like I said, I'm not sure he should get one. His performance was good. I'm not saying didn't have a good performance. It was really good, but I'm just going to make that prediction so that if it happens, people come to this video and be like, "Hey, he called it." Because yeah, if it doesn't happen, well, egg on my face. I don't mind. Because like I said, it's not something that I don't want to say I don't believe he deserves it, but like there's better performances in the movie, especially like if we're talking about Oscar performances. Um, this movie is going to get nominated for an Oscar. Obviously, Ludwig's going to get nominated for an Oscar. Obviously, it's Christopher Nolan and it's Ludwig Göransson. They're going to get Oscar noms, regardless of what happens. um, yeah, so that's kind of what I want to talk about. That's kind of the mid little spoiler little section, talking about those things. I didn't want to. If you're watching this and you don't mind an influence, that's fine. But I really didn't want to influence the perception of the acting um, for the people who haven't watched the movie because I feel like I wouldn't want that. I'd want to go in blind. I watched this like first, like opening day first slot I could. It was like 11:30 a.m. Very empty cinema, like for an opening day of a Nolan movie. To be fair, it was Friday 11:30, like people have work and stuff. But still, it's like quite an empty showing. Anyways, I didn't get anything spoiled for me. I watched it first. But yeah, I don't want to spoil anything, and I don't want to influence anything. Rather, I don't want to influence anyone's perception of the cast and acting and anything like that. But if you watch this part and you haven't seen the movie, I'm going to start talking about spoilers here. Um, there'll probably be story spoilers, so if you've read the book, you can probably watch this next part. But I recommend if you don't want to know anything about the movie, even if you know about the book, still just click off and then come back later. But remember to come back later. Um, so yeah, that's your warning. You can click off now if you don't want any spoilers for the movie, for the story, for the movie, all of that stuff. Okay. Firstly, now that they're gone, people who have watched the movie, I want to say I saw Christopher Nolan praising Obsession, which is a great movie. I already left a review for that. Made a review for that rather. I saw Christopher Nolan praising that and saying that he would like to make a horror movie. I read that and was like, I'm not sure. It will be a good movie because it's Nolan, but I'm not sure if it'll be a good horror movie. That was my mindset. I'm like, he makes good movies. That's like he will make a good movie. Whatever genre it's in, he'll make it. It'll be a good movie. But specifically doing the horror stuff, I'm not sure if he could get that. But the scene in this movie with the Cyclops, I'm like, yeah, this guy can make a horror movie. And then again later on with Calypso, I'm like, yeah, this guy can make a horror movie, like whether it's body horror, monster horror. I feel like Slash is too small for him. He feels like a very like epic scale director because that's what he does. He's done Oppenheimer and Tenet and um, Interstellar and the Odyssey. It's like a very epic scale, but doing like a slasher film is very small scale. Anyways, I do feel like he can make a good horror movie, and I kind of want him to now. I would love to see what he does with it because the Cyclops and Calypso sections were just two sections of this movie that were like very like quite well. Calypso's was way like much more disturbing, and obviously the Cyclops was scarier. Um, Also the creature design was like very creepy. I really enjoyed it. Well, for the movie, for the scariness that they want to come across rather. But yeah, what I'm saying is these were just two sections of movies, of a movie rather, that had like a bunch of things surrounding, a lot more surrounding it than just the scariness. So it'd be interesting to see him take the idea of like, let's just use the Cyclops scene, um, take the idea of like the Cyclops and like kind of make it an entire movie, or take like the horror things he knows or like learned from making that scene and make stretch it out into an entire movie. That would be very interesting. Not specifically the scene in an entire movie, obviously, but the idea of like making a longer movie from this, because this is just a section. It's easy to do a section of horror, but to do a like long horror movie that's consistently scary and consistently well written and all of that stuff, it would be a much bigger undertaking, I would think, than just a scene in a movie that has scary and horror elements. Well, I would argue it's a horror scene, but it's obviously not a horror movie. This one, um, yeah, the Cyclops scene was really scary, and I'd love to see what he does with a longer horror movie or like an actual proper horror movie and not just a scene from a epic, not just a horror scene in a bigger movie, if that makes sense. I hope it does, because I'm not repeating myself. Um, yeah. What else? Yes. The scene with Calypso is also really good. The thing that bothered me in this movie, let me talk about that quickly, is the dialogue. It's very Americanized. It's very modern day. It's very like Tom Holland, Robert Pattinson are doing um, English accents. They have English accents. They're doing American accents, which is like I feel like everyone should have spoken in a British accent, even though it's not Greece. Well, my friend actually mentioned this and like made me think about it, but I feel like everyone should have spoken in a British accent because British is fancy. And so if you speak in a British accent, like, I can't do a British accent, so I'm not going to try. But if you speak in a British accent, it's fancier. And so we get this sense that they're all royalty. I agree and disagree. I feel like I don't mind the accents as much as the dialogue itself. But I do feel like the accents are an issue, and British might have helped that, but then we would have gotten like Anne Hathaway's proper performance and Matt Damon's proper performance and everything. But we still got a good performance from Tom Holland doing an accent. So it's here and there. But my main thing is the dialogue. It's so like my dad is coming home, but then you get lines like I hear it on the wind and the waves, and it sounds cool, and then like get off this effing beach and stuff like that. It's like it's so out there, and then it was beautifully written, that dialogue with the about the sirens after Odysseus ties him or gets tied to the mast, and then he hears the sirens and he's screaming and they ask him what he heard, and it's like visually so beautiful, and like the music and the like not the dialogue, the monologue is what I'm looking for. The monologue that was written was so beautiful and so well performed by Matt Damon. If I remember correctly, I am going to say this. I don't remember exactly what he said, but I do remember it being like really good. Yeah. So that's why I'm saying what I'm saying. Sorry, I'm touching my eyes so much. It feels like there's something in them and they're itchy, so that's fun. But yeah, the dialogue was iffily written, but there are some scenes where like Odysseus like has the stick, the thing from Antonio. Not it's not Antonius. From I'm forgetting their names now. From Elliot Page's character to give to Robert Pattinson's character. Um, not Scylla. That's the snake thing. Sinai, something like that. Sinon. That Sinon wanted to give to Robert Pattinson's character. Elliot Page wanted to give to Robert Pattinson, and so Matt Damon has it, and he's like, puts it in the mouth, and he's like, "Take your shame," and it's like that's so cool. Like, yes, my God. But Odysseus is really cool. That like final scene. Speaking of Odysseus being cool, that like not the final scene, but the scene where he's like the beggar, and he's like, "Let me try," and then like the music builds up, and it's like, and then and like he does the whole thing, like he, does the bow and then fires it, and I love the way he like, I love the sound it makes. It's such a pleasing sound that, and it's so like cool. But like the way the music builds up and then syncs with when he does that, like plucks the bow. That's the word, plucks the bow, and then like that's when everyone realizes this is Odysseus. At least that's when Penelope realizes this is Odysseus. Like that's such a cool scene. I really, really, really enjoyed it. And then he kills all the suitors. Like, hello, my God. He's just like me for real. Yeah, he's just like me for real. I thought I wasn't recording for a second. That's why I slowed down my speech. Um, but yeah, Odysseus is really cool. Now going back, the dialogue, yeah, but there are cool moments and there are like good moments. I really, I really do like it. Um, that's probably my biggest issue with the movie is the dialogue. Like I can't think of any other issue I have with the movie. It's long, it's loud, but I like long movies. I don't really mind loud movies. Some people would have an issue with the loud movie and with the length, but I don't. Um, but each scene is just it's so well done. It's told obviously like you've watched. This is like the spoiler section, so I know you've watched it, but it's told non-linearly because it's Nolan, and I still feel like that was well done. It's much more it's much less confusing. Rather, it's much more like clear than a lot of these other movies. Tenet, Oppenheimer, I was confused by a lot more than this. Yeah, it was done really well. It was directed really well. It was again the writing was good. It's just the dialogue that I had an issue with, if that makes sense. Like the way it was written, but is good, but the speech and what they say is bad. Like I don't know how to like differentiate them because like a lot of people will be like, well, what's written is what they're saying, but that's not what I'm saying. It's like the movie was well made, but also not well made. It's just like what happens in each scene, and it's just the way their intentions come across through their words. Let me say that because like what they're saying is cool and like it's well written. It's just the fact that it's written in a modernized dialogue that messes me up, that like irks me. But it is well written. It's well directed. Again, Ludwig Göransson's probably getting an Oscar nomination. Um, the what's it? Nolan's probably getting an Oscar. Matt Damon, Anne Hathaway, Tom Holland. Like I said, I'm calling Tom Holland getting an Oscar nomination. Um, Robert Pattinson was really good in that. Actually, I kind of hated him. Like I saw his face. I'm like, okay, I kind of hate this guy. um, what else? What else? What else? The scenes with Scylla and Charybdis, or Scylla specifically, Scylla's design was so good. Like I don't know, it's such a like it's this morphing mass of like tendrils and snakes, and like that was practical. Like that was done with like just 6 stuntmen, like on rigs, just being yanked up. And Charybdis, the whirlpool, is like the people in jet skis spinning around. The scene with the like Dragonians, apparently that was done in camera. That was a cool scene. Like they had like 7 foot tall stuntmen and like shorter than 5 foot tall stuntmen, like to make that height difference. It was all done in camera. There was no CG with it, which is so cool. It's so well done. Um, I just kind of felt like a lot of fetch quests, not fetch quests, but a lot of side quests is the word. It felt like a lot of side quests, but I mean that's like the purpose. It's meant to get Odysseus from being this egotistical guy of like, no, I defy the gods, to this guy who like Athena is looking after him, Zeus is looking after him. It's like to get to where he needs to be, those things needed to happen. Um, yeah, especially, not especially, but like I was gonna say, especially like losing his crew because then he realized like he can't defy the gods. Whatever he tries to do, the will is still going. The will of the gods will still happen. Um, but really, a lot of them, almost all of them, needed to happen. I saw a meme before the movie came out, It was, it was the red carpet, and someone was like, "Oh, it's, look at all the women of the Odyssey. Charlize Theron, Lupita Nyong'o, Zendaya, Anne Hathaway, um, what's it, Mia Goth? I don't know. She wasn't featured prominently, but that's kind of the joke that someone replied to that and said they all have 5 minutes of screen time each, and that's kind of true. Like Charlize is barely in the movie, Zendaya is barely in the movie. It's Dune all over again. She's in a lot of the marketing for the movie, and she's just not in the movie. She's barely in the movie. She is in the movie, but you know what I mean. But yeah, that was quite funny that seeing that come true. It's really only Anne Hathaway that has the most screen time in the movie. That's because she is the main character's wife. Technically, the main character could be Telemachus. I like Odysseus though. Telemachus is cool. He's a cool guy. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, no, I really enjoyed this movie. There were a lot of scenes that were just so well done. A lot of the story was so well written. Again, credit to Homer, credit to Nolan for adapting Homer well. I haven't read the book. I'd love to read the book. I'm probably going to do that. Um, Speaking of which, go look at my Letterboxd. If I remember, I will hopefully link it in the description below. So please go check that out. Please go follow that. But that's for the end of the video. Um, Overall, I really enjoyed this movie. I thought it was a great movie. Nolan's um, blown out the park once again. Like everything was just so good. The Cyclops was a puppet. Apparently, I didn't even know that, but it was a puppet. It wasn't. It didn't look exactly like it. It was just kind of big wooden puppet. But still, it was like to give the CGI people, VFX artists, something to base it off of. Oh, and like I said with the whirlpool, it's people in jet skis going around. I interrupted myself. People in jet skis going around to give the VFX artists something to go based off of for the whirlpool, for Charybdis. Yeah. This video was much like all of my other videos, just kind of a bit of a rant of me saying stuff. This is shorter than my Obsession review because I don't have as much to say. Because Obsession was like a very detailed one. This one is kind of it's surface level in the sense that if you watch it, you get it. Like there are deeper things like I mentioned, Odysseus's ego of wanting to defy the gods and go and taking the shorter or taking the other route home. Um, and like the way he feels and how his arc and all of that stuff. Like if you dive a bit deeper into it, you can. But to me, it's like it's a very surface level movie. You watch it and it's good, and it tells you everything you need to know. You don't need to think about it or talk about it or think about it a lot deeper than just watching it. Really, you can and you should, but you don't have to. Anyway, yeah, that's why this review is shorter. Um, Yeah, no, I don't know what to say about this movie, so I'm gonna say it was a great movie. If you've watched this section without even um, uh, watching the movie, go watch the movie. I have no idea what you're doing. Um, yeah, I hope you enjoy. Hope you enjoyed this video, this review of the Odyssey. Uh, in theaters now. Not sponsored, unfortunately. Christopher Nolan, sponsor me. Who did it? Universal. Universal, sponsor me. That would be crazy. Uh, Yes. I hope you enjoy I hope you enjoy the rest of your day whenever you're watching this. Hope you enjoy your. And if I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. That's the Truman Show for you. Okay, thank you. Go follow my Instagram. Go follow my Letterboxd. If I remember, they'll be linked in the description below. If not, there it's not your job to find them. It's my job to remember. But if you do find them, go follow them. Yeah, uh, thank you so much for watching the video. I appreciate it. Thanks for sticking with me. I'll probably be slower with uploads because, like I said, I did get a new job. So I'm going to be working on that mainly during the week. But I'll hopefully be able to upload some videos. I've got some like titles in my head and like kind of vibes and concepts I want to talk about that I need to iron out. Um, but yeah, thank you for watching. Enjoy your day. And if you haven't watched Odyssey, go watch it. Yeah, like, subscribe, comment, do all of that stuff. Let me know what you thought of the Odyssey. Let me know what you thought of this video. If you liked it, leave a like, leave a comment. Let me know. If you disliked it, leave a like, leave a comment. You don't have to dislike the video, but just tell me why you disliked it. You can still like it. Like and subscribe. Okay, thanks. Love you. Bye.